Good morning and welcome to the Carnival Celebration. Let's talk about how this ship is different than other ships you might cruise on. What do you need to know if you're going to cruise on the Carnival Celebration? First, the ship is huge, bigger than any other ship you're going to get on in the Carnival fleet. Sure, Royal Caribbean's got some giant ships, but nothing of this size has been in the Carnival fleet before. And I think they did it really well. This is a great cruise with 9 choices to eat in the evening, 3 sit-down restaurants for your option every night, Cucina de Capitano, Shebang, and your regular main dining room, along with the other things like the MDR, like the buffet, and the Guy's Burgers, and Blue Iguana, and the Smokehouse. Those are all going to be options you can eat at in the evening also. But it does have some drawbacks. There are 6,500 people on this ship. So let me give you some ideas and something you should think about if you're going to cruise here. What's the good? The good are all the dining options. There's so many choices of food during the day. Street eats, I'll post a few videos here of street eats, what we had there. We love street eats. So many options to choose from. Lunch, dinner, everything, lots of options. Now, don't confuse, if you just come on this ship, don't confuse that with other ships. There are, let's compare it to the Carnival Pride. My pinnacle of cruising prior to this is Spirit Class. I think Carnival outdid itself with Spirit Class. It's never made a ship better until maybe this ship. But I'll give you some pros and cons, and you can make up your mind. On the Carnival Pride, you're going to have 42 square foot of public space per person. Here on the Carnival Celebration, you're looking at 28. What are the cons? Well, let's start with pros. Let's just go with pros to begin with. Entertainment. So some of the shows were not to my liking. I was not impressed with Magnificent Circus, but the singers and the dancers on this cruise ship are so much better than any cruise ship we've been on before. Now, is that because it's currently the flagship and the largest and the newest boat? Maybe. That may go down a little bit later. Right now, there's like 20 people on this boat, 20 singers and dancers who can just belt out a tune. If you've done a lot of Carnival cruising, you'll know that sometimes you get 1 or 2 people on a cruise ship who can really sing, and nobody else. The entertainment talent on this ship has been amazing. The food is over the top. I mean, it's been really good for Carnival food. A lot of people are still complaining that Carnival food has gone downhill, and it has. It's not what it was 20 years ago, and I don't know that it ever will be again. But Carnival's putting the resources into the celebration right now, and the food is very good. The bad, the elevators. If you're going to book this cruise, I would book as close to what you think you're going to do a lot on this cruise. If you think the shows are your thing, I would book deck 5 or deck 9. If you think you want to go to the buffet a lot, I would book deck 15. The elevators are really packed all the time, and it's hard to get an elevator to go up and down. Dinner. There are 6,500 people on this cruise ship, and if you check in as soon as dinner opens, you're going to get right in. You're going to be out in under an hour. If you check in an hour after dinner opens, you're going to wait. Service is going to be slow. It's just going to be a whole different experience. So if you can stand it, eat early, check in as soon as it opens. Some days that's 4:40, some days that's 5:10. The times change. If they're in ports versus sea days, 5 versus 5:30, or actually it may be changing versus formal night, elegant night versus non-elegant night. But pay attention to the times. Even the staff told us, don't come later. It's very hard to get in. It's very hard to get served. It takes a really long time. Let's see. And remember the multiple venues. You have choices of 3 sit-downs, full-service restaurants every night. We didn't love Shebang. We haven't even tried Cucina de Capitano yet. The menu just doesn't look awesome to us. But on this ship, every night, the MDR has just been amazing. And as much as we love the Pride, that wasn't the case on our last cruise. Carnival is putting the resources here, unfortunately, and not on the Spirit class right now. I hope they never get rid of the Spirit class. I still love them. But center stage. So I'm going to throw some video here in to center stage. That is literally the worst show venue I've ever seen on any cruise ship. Most of the seats have no view whatsoever. The ones that do still have, I mean, if you get one of the 50 or so seats that have a great view, awesome. But of course we got 6,500 people on this ship, and even max capacity, that thing seats maybe 300 people, and half of those people don't have a view. So they're working with what they got. That's another thing. You can't do everything on this ship. I mean, on the Carnival Pride, you can do every single thing that's happening on that ship during a 7-day cruise. You cannot do that on the Carnival Celebration. You've got to pick and choose. So look ahead of time. Celestial Strings was the first night. We missed it, assuming it was going to happen again on another night. It did not. It was first night, and that was it. So look at the whole schedule when you get on the boat. Go over it. Think about everything that you want to do. Let's see. What else?
Oh, the staff at port going out to...
Oh yes, so on the smaller ships they just don't have these kind of resources. Your fun squad is running out at the port. I'll show you some video here. Dancing for people, bringing them back. I mean, that happens on other ships. I saw it on the Dream. But on like the Carnival Pride, they just don't do that sort of thing. They're just not able to. They don't have that kind of staff. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, so the Celebration has removed our favorite things to do on a cruise ship in the Quest show. In my opinion, Quest is the most enjoyable show that Carnival has ever done. Why they would cut it off a ship, I have no clue. They do have something called Adult Game Night, which is just dirty sex trivia questions. It does not compare in any way to Quest. Please, Carnival, bring Quest back to all ships. It is the most amazing show. Now, comparatively, other ships don't have Street Eats. Street Eats usually opens at 2 or 3 noon on sea days, and the stuff they're cranking out there has just been delicious every day. We have not had a bad dish from Street Eats, and that fries place next door, that's amazing. What else? There's not a lot of bad things on this cruise ship. This has been a very impressive cruise.
This one has a truly non-smoking casino.
This has a non-smoking section of their casino. A lot of cruise ships do not, and the casino is just full of smoke. This has a non-smoking section. Now, some of the classes like Magic have an actual non-smoking casino entirely. This, a section of it is non-smoking, but the non-smoking section was very nice. Okay, here's another thing to remember about the Carnival Celebration. They clear out the venues after a show, so you can't sit in a show and wait for the next show. They're going to run you out of there, so you need to plan. And again, 6,500 people on this ship. None of the venues here could seat even a quarter of those people. So if you're into seeing the shows, if you really want to see a particular show, get in line early, get a seat early, be there when the doors open. And you're going to get a great seat if you do. If you're there as soon as they open the doors, everyone who's been waiting there with us has gotten an amazing seat. The Celebration is fully handicap accessible. We haven't seen anywhere where someone with a scooter or a chair couldn't go. The hallways are a little small in some of these corridors, smaller than other ships, but still plenty big enough to navigate even with other people going through. Check-in was, the boarding process and check-in was great. Maybe the smoothest we've ever had on a Carnival cruise ship. It compares to any. The Carnival Pride was amazing. We walked right in, we got right in, but that happened here too. We walked right in, sat down. They took us in 10:30, 10:45 boarding. They really got that down. For this many people, I was a little bit worried. Not a problem. The bathrooms on this ship in your cabin are going to be much smaller than bathrooms on previous classes. Like I said, you got 42 square feet on the Pride per person. You got 28 square feet of public space on the Celebration per person. Everything's smaller. The rooms are smaller. The bathrooms are smaller. If what you're going on a cruise for is relaxation, I would 100% suggest a Spirit class ship. If you're going for a party, lots of activities, Celebration is your ship. Every single night of this cruise, every night we've had a party, right? We've had the white party, the 80s party, the Evolution party, the Sail Away party, the Motown Showdown party. Every night there has been a big party on this cruise ship to end the night. But also every night it has been dinner, show, party. It's a busy cruise ship. Now, of course, you can just ignore all that. You can go up to the Serenity deck and relax while they're partying somewhere. But if you wanted a true relaxing cruise, I'd consider Spirit class over Celebration Excel class. Now, in between, I don't even care for those ships. Horizon, Vista, I think Carnival totally missed the mark there on those ships, but in this one, they really hit it. Now, here's something you want to remember. The Carnival Celebration only works as long as all those evening venues are free. If they turn into paid venues, frankly, the Carnival Celebration would no longer be a ship you wanted to be in. If those venues are no longer free and become paid, Shebang, Cucina di Capitano, the Smokehouse, if they become paid, the entire dynamic of this cruise changes, in my opinion. And I don't know if I'd still consider Celebration or Excel class. So keep that in mind if that changes after this video.
Because they all want to go to the dining room.
Yeah, because everybody's going to flood the dining room. Everybody's going to flood the buffet. It's going to be a mess. Okay, and for those of you out there who only have experience on the Carnival Celebration, keep in mind this is nothing like other Carnival cruises. If you think you know all about a Carnival cruise because you've only been on Excel class, or even Excel and Vista and Horizon, a lot of things that you may take for granted here on the Celebration are going to be missing on your smaller ships. So this is starting to be a problem on all Carnival ships, but it's a really big issue on the Celebration. No food after 9:30 except pizza. Now, pizza runs all night, and you can still pay for room service, which we did. Here's a clip of the BLT we got late at night. But after 9:30, there's almost no food on this ship except for pizza and room service. In the past, in years past, you had things like the midnight buffet and stuff like that. Not anymore. Carnival is really cutting back on food late at night, so that's something to consider when you cruise the Celebration. For the Carnival Celebration, the two worst things on this boat to me are the elevators. The elevators are terrible. Every time one opens, they're absolutely full and they stop on every floor. I'll have to check, but I think they're the smallest elevators I've seen on Carnival cruise ships. And again, there's 6,500 people on this ship when it's full. No other ship even comes close to that. The other thing is certainly the center stage. The center stage is the most terrible venue for seating. It has no backstage, so the poor actors and dancers have to do changes, either run down the hallway and change somewhere else, or they have to change in front of everyone. It's actually pretty interesting. I thought that show last night, it was called One World. I thought the costume changes in front of the stage were really nice to watch. It was like a little behind the scenes thing, but the particular venue there, it can only seat about 100 people can see the whole show properly, and it only seats about 300 on a ship with 6,500 or so, and most of those people do not have a clear view of most of what's going on the stage. I know that they designed it and then decided how they were going to put shows on there, but yeah, it's pretty bad. Thanks for watching my advice on the Carnival Pride. If you think I missed anything, or if I'm just flat out wrong about anything from your experience on the Celebration, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you. Oh yeah, there we go. That's perfect. There's your screenshot. Welcome to the making of the thumbnail.